I trusted him completely, and when I finally realized why he'd earned that trust so easily, everything made sense in the worst possible way. His name was Mark, and we'd been dating for about 7 months. He was charming, attentive, and seemed genuinely interested in my life. He remembered small details I'd mentioned in passing, surprised me with thoughtful gestures, and made me feel seen in a way I hadn't experienced in previous relationships. Mark worked in sales, which meant irregular hours and frequent travel. He'd often text me from airports or hotel rooms, sharing photos and complaining about delayed flights. I never questioned it. Why would I? He was open about his schedule, always kept me updated, and made time for me whenever he was in town. My best friend Rachel had doubts from the beginning. She said something felt off about him, though she couldn't pinpoint exactly what. I dismissed her concerns as overprotectiveness. Rachel had been burned badly in her last relationship and tended to be skeptical of men in general. One Thursday evening, I was at a coffee shop working on my laptop when I saw Mark walk in. I was about to call out to him when I noticed he wasn't alone. A woman was with him, and they sat at a corner table holding hands across the surface. My stomach dropped. I sat frozen, partially hidden behind my screen. They looked comfortable together, intimate. She laughed at something he said, and he touched her face the same way he touched mine. I wanted to storm over there, but something made me wait and observe. They stayed for about 40 minutes. I took photos on my phone, hating myself for doing it, but needing proof of what I was seeing. When they left together, I followed at a distance. They walked 3 blocks to an apartment building and went inside. I sat in my car shaking. Part of me wanted to confront him immediately, but I forced myself to think strategically. If I confronted him now, he'd probably lie, and I'd have no leverage. Instead, I went home and started digging. I searched his name combined with various terms. Eventually, I found a Facebook profile he'd never mentioned. It was set to private, but the profile picture showed him with the same woman from the coffee shop. Her name was Amanda, and according to her public posts, they'd been together for 3 years. 3 years! My 7 months was nothing compared to that. I felt physically ill. I scrolled through Amanda's posts, finding photos of them at family gatherings, on vacations, at weddings. She referred to him as her partner. In several posts, she mentioned their future plans, buying a house together, maybe getting engaged soon. Everything clicked into place. His travel schedule wasn't about work. He was splitting time between 2 lives. The reason he was so good at making me feel special was because he'd had years of practice manipulating Amanda. He'd perfected the performance. I needed to tell Amanda, but I was terrified of how she'd react. Would she believe me? Would she blame me? I spent 2 days agonizing over it before finally sending her a message through Facebook. I introduced myself, apologized for the intrusion, and explained the situation with as much detail and evidence as possible. I included photos, screenshots of texts, everything. She responded within hours. She didn't yell or blame me. Instead, she thanked me. She said she'd had suspicions for months, but Mark had always explained them away. She'd thought she was being paranoid. My message confirmed what her gut had been telling her. We agreed to confront him together. Amanda suggested we do it at her apartment where he'd be most off guard. She gave me the address, and we set a time. When I arrived, Amanda looked tired and sad, but also determined. We waited on her couch until Mark came home. The look on his face when he saw us both sitting there